is I could do much greater and bigger things with doing one single job, making X amount, rather than my old way of thinking was, hey, I got to get 20, 25 $1,000 events to match this one. And here I had to spread us way thin over here. And we made what we did that all month, for a whole season with 25 events, we can do that in 30 days with one event. So from a financial standpoint, it really opened up the doors for me to see bigger.
Welcome to Peer Talk, a dialogue with business owners just like you. Peer Talk conversations run the gamut of business challenges facing owners today. The host of Peer Talk is Dan Crowley, founder and owner of Peer Executive Groups, which provides a safe space for owners to share their experience, grow their businesses, and learn from their peers.
Hi, this is Dan Crowley. We have a number of great owners in our peer group network, just like you, and our job is to give you a voice here on Peer Talk.
There are three primary reasons the teams I work with implement EOS, otherwise known as traction. Number one, they're in pain. Things aren't going like you would like, and you're ready to do something about it. Number two, they want to get to the next level. You're doing fine, but there's an opportunity out there that you don't think you're ready for. And number three, a transition is imminent or expected. You're ready to make a change for yourself and your family as it relates to the business. Want to know more? Please reach out to me, Matthew Todd, Certified EOS Implementer, at 360-518-7718.
We want to welcome today Rob Verdi, who is a very exciting entrepreneur from the Louisiana area who also participates in our peer groups. He has the honor of serving his great hospitality industry through a collection of companies, the Hospitality Collection, Southern Hospitality Event Rentals, and Southern Approach Event Planning. We will be discussing how outside threats and opportunities play into a strategic plan. All right, we are here with another edition of Peer Talk, and today's guest is Rob Verdi from Southern Hospitality Event Rentals out of Louisiana. Rob, it's great to have you on the program today.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So the topic today is really dealing with strife in your business, especially as it relates to external influences, right? So we all look at SWOT analysis as part of our business plan. Right. And, what's our internal strengths and weaknesses? But then there's this external component, which are opportunities and threats. We saw one party and event operation during the time of COVID went from worst to first, essentially rose to the top in Arizona, became our top gun for event rental. And so it's interesting to see how people pivot and respond to things. In your case, your region was devastated by weather in 2021. So I want to get to that today. Okay. But first, let's talk about you. How did you find yourself in event rental?
Well, I'm actually from Cleveland, Ohio, and I moved down here to Louisiana in 2007. And I came down here with the intention of starting a business. It took me 3 years to find out what direction or what type of business I wanted to start. And it was really came from a place of just listening to people, seeing what the needs were. And I was actually at a dinner with an event planner friend of mine, and she was complaining about a recent wedding that had just taken place, and the rental company, they didn't show up on time. It was dirty equipment. It was, just people who really just didn't care. And driving home from that dinner is when the kind of light bulb started going off. Started doing research, started interviewing people in the industry, and really came to a conclusion that there was a need in our area for a rental company.
Excellent. Okay, that's interesting. So I didn't realize you came to the area from Ohio, right? So that's crazy. Yep. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Okay, so tell us about your business. So Southern Hospitality, where exactly are you located down in that region?
Yeah, so we're located right in Mandeville, Louisiana, which is about 45 minutes north, right across Lake Pontchartrain on the North Shore. So we're about 45 minutes north. It's Mandeville, Louisiana.
Oh wow, excellent. So you're in a really cool spot for people who want to get down there and enjoy the region. But again, when the weather's bad, the weather can be really yes. bad, right? So
it's a huge tour. New Orleans is really a huge touristy area. There's a lot of people that come in from all over the country come here to get married. It's one of the top wedding destination places in the country. So there's, anytime you go, 45 minutes in a city and you'll meet all kinds of people from all over the place. So it is a pretty unique and cool place.
Very cool. That's very cool. So tell us about, we know you went through 2020. You were a member, you had to go on hiatus. You came back into the membership of Peer Group. So we appreciate you being back, and hopefully you're getting some value out of that. And tell us about, how was the weather this year? First, walk us through what happened with the weather, because obviously I think you got hit 4 times, something like that. Or
well, it was actually, so this year, we were the main thing this year was obviously Hurricane Ida. Okay. But take a step back. Last year in 2020 is we had about, I think if that's the year that you're referring to, we had about 6 hurricanes that literally was, just out to Orange Beach, about 3.5 hours, east of us, and then out to, Lake Charles, 3.5 hours west of us, and everywhere in between. And so that, that first storm that hit was a Category 5 hurricane in Lake Charles. I had just at that point just got my, a lot of my certifications through the government, so I really wasn't prepared, but I drove there the day after it hit, and I just drove there, just started driving around to different places searching for an opportunity. And fortunately, I had one of my, at the time last year, one of my largest jobs that I've ever done was booked just through driving around and talking to people. And so that really was an essential time period of really where disaster and emergency and just being, prepared and planning for those things. Because obviously living here in the Gulf Coast region, it's not going to be the last time we're going to deal with that. So I started kind of making some shifts with our business and getting some things and being a little bit more prepared. And I felt like, moving into this year, we dealt with Hurricane Ida. We were much more prepared and were able to respond very quickly. And we're, just in a much better place this year to respond than we were last year. But
so tell us about your business as it relates to your inventory. So 2020 comes, it's brutal, right? So I remember you being a young operator back in 18, 19 or whatever it was. And then, all of a sudden 20 comes and your inventory is still relatively youthful, right? So what was your inventory? How did your inventory change from 20 to 21?
Oh my Lord. We believe it or not, Dan, I probably doubled my inventory.
Wow.
During that time. It was, and that was just really birthed out of just absolute, just needs. We were just, trying to respond to the needs accordingly with our inventory. And we made a really heavy commitment to invest in inventory that was able to meet the needs of the people or companies or, whoever it was that was, that needed certain things. And so we went in a heavy phase this last probably, 12 to 18 months of really investing and stepping out of our comfort zone. For example, we just got invested into a Lossberger P3 20-meter structure tent. So those are the types of things that we wanted to, there was a need to have these larger structure tents in our area, in this Gulf Coast region. And so we had to, we made the commitment to make that investment.
Wow. And so, obviously with that, those can cost money, obviously. Have you done, how was your business like in 20 and 21 with subrentals? Were you able to source stuff that you needed from other sources other than just from your own personal inventory?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big believer in, I don't have to own everything, but I do have to have the relationships with the other companies. And that's real important to me. Something I really strongly value is, having, I try to, have other companies' backs when they need something, and vice versa. So that's a huge, and again, there's certain things that we do, we did sub out, and we absolutely will do that. But then there was also certain things such as, a structure tent where there was, there was a need, for that. And we felt like some things you got to weigh out. And again, it's all a timing thing as well on when you pull the trigger on a, big piece of equipment like that, or, make these huge investments. And, I was a little nervous. At first because, you've got COVID and you're kind of unsure of where things are going. So it's like, well, do I suck money out of my cash flow and invest more, or do I be more cautious and stay, and so I tried to walk a balanced line on that and just be smart about things. The things that we did invest in during that time is things that, we knew automatically had 3, 4, 5, 6 bookings in the, within 6 to 12 months. So,
yeah. So you weren't expanding your linen at that point, or choosing different silverware options.
Correct. Yeah. Not those types of purchases. No.
Okay. Got it. Interesting. And so when you started to get some of those contracts, did you feel like was there any epiphany or anything related to it where you could kind of see yourself doing more of that work even after periods of disaster relief or anything like that?
Yeah. So my epiphany, I've had a few of them. Okay. But the very first one was in 2019. I started learning from people that had a lot of their certifications, and proactively searched out building relationships with government officials, with, everything from, just across the board, and just being prepared and safety minded and having all your ducks in a row and having all your, paperwork. So I actually started going through that process in 2019. And worked on it for about a year or so. When that stuff hit in 2020, we had all of our ducks in a row, but we just hadn't kind of learned the bidding process yet. And so now we've learned that process, and we're kind of coming. It takes a couple years, I think, to really grasp. But to answer your question directly, yes, the epiphany is I could do much greater and bigger things with doing one single job, making X amount, rather than my old way of thinking was, hey, I got to get 20, 25 $1,000 events to match this one. And here I had to spread us way thin over here. And we made what we did that all month, for a whole season with 25 events, we could do that in 30 days with one event. So from a financial standpoint, it really opened up the doors for me to see bigger,
Gotcha.
Bigger and greater opportunities than I had in the past.
And so obviously you're learning this on your own. You're kind of getting to this moment. You've had a chance to kind of sit with your peer group since that time, but also when you're in the thick of it, right? When you're going through it. Did any of them have similar thoughts? Have you guys aligned on, how you might create a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan to go after a specific type of work versus what you've done in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there is, I spoke with multiple people in our particular group, but there was one gentleman in particular that, we were calling each other during Hurricane Ida recently. We were calling each other and touching base, daily. Hey, what's your thoughts on this? Hey, do you have this? Hey, I have that. And really, it was really cool to just, have somebody that, we were working together on stuff, and using my inventory and his inventory because, Dan, I'm not the largest company out there. I'm a little guy on the totem pole. Okay. But I have huge aspirations And so in order for me to even do some of these things that I was, trying to do, I need other people, and there's other people that need me because, again, Dan, I am right here. So there were other companies, even nationally, that, I was able to get somewhere in hours where it would take them days, so it was
Wow.
really had to. So to answer your question, yes, I'm trying to learn and grow and adapt and just as much as possible, but I can't do that on my own. I'm leveraging relationships in our peer group. I'm leveraging relationships in the industry, trying to learn from other people that have been down this path before. I've got a lot to learn, but I feel like over these last couple of years, I'm getting more and more comfortable, and I feel more prepared now, to respond than ever before.
Good. All right. Well, that's excellent. And I appreciate the fact that those people are useful to you and they're a great resource. On another note, or I should say pivoting to other people, tell us a little bit about your employees. So obviously the owner isn't alone going through this hardship and struggle. And, they were with you to some extent during COVID, then they get shut down. Did anybody at all make it back after COVID into the new Southern hospitality? Or was it all new, fresh faces? And
I had about 15 full-time employees, and honestly, I went down to one employee.
Wow.
We are currently up to 23 or 24 full-time employees. So that just goes to show you, kind of, hey, there's been massive growth since then, which is great news for the industry. But I had a couple of my key people come back, but it was a rebuilding process, Dan. It was a painful one, but a necessary one. And ultimately, the team that I have now is the best team that I've been in business for 12 years, the best group of people that I have ever worked with. And just to give you a little insight of just my team, I'm going to brag on my team real quick, is they had started working, this during Hurricane Ida, started working at 5 a.m. And we get a call at 1 p.m. saying, Rob, can you and your team go deliver? It was 240 by 100s, 230 by 60s, and a couple of smaller tents. And Can you have it set up in Houston, 6 hours away, by 6 a.m? So I get all the employees together. I said, look, guys, this is up to you guys. And I went around, I was like, who wants it? Every one of them, again, they'd already been working 7-8 hours. And we still had to load trucks, drive 6 hours, set up, it was an all-nighter. Every single one of them was like, I'm in, let's go. Everybody executed. We got in, we finished right at 6 a.m. And it was one of the coolest. I went out there with them. And so I'm like, if they're going to be, going through that, I'm going to go through it with them. And we made it happen. And that's a memory that I'll always have right there. So, but that just goes to show you what kind of team, even though we had to rebuild and regrow, my team now is the best team that I've ever had.
I can't believe I had never heard that story. That's amazing. Usually that makes its rounds around peer groups and you're like, did you hear this about what happened down in Houston? Wow, that was incredible. Well, that's good to know. I mean, and boy, what a test to understand and realize who your people are, right? So we do a thing inside of EOS implementation. Obviously, we do it inside of our prestige programs, but also people use EOS either themselves or with an EOS implementer. There's a thing called a people analyzer where you go and you look at the values of your company and you look at the people in their roles. Do they get their role? Do they want the role? And do they have the capacity to do it, get it, want it, and capacities, right? So when you're able to look at your values, you're saying, wow, these employees are matching up against, with what my personal values are, what my values are in my company. And so, of course, if you don't have that in place, you never know really if people are going to be, when you say, hey, follow me into this fire, whether they're following you or they're just, saying, good luck with that, boss. I can't make it. I can't make that trip. But so that brings up systems. So what systems, you have good employees, what systems are you building in place to kind of support them? Do you use management software, or do you have some systems like EOS or anything like that you're looking at?
You know what, Dan, that's believe it or not, what you're explaining is a huge area that we're trying to grow in, that I have we have a lot of room for improvement on that aspect. And I think because of the rapid growth over the last 12 months, it's almost like we've been flying by the seat of our pants, just in survival mode for the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we have certain systems and processes. But to be honest with you, I'd be lying to you if I said, hey, we were, this is like, hey, it's like we have them, but we haven't started, fully implementing them.
Sure.
But I boil it down, talk about team, and again, to three simple things. The first one is work ethic. The second one is character. And then the third one is team camaraderie. Okay. So those three things, and our team, they know within a day of somebody, if they don't have either one of those, if you have to have all three of them. You can't have two of the three, because you could have the greatest work ethic, the greatest high character caliber person, but if nobody likes working with you and doesn't have fun with you, then that, it's just not going to work out. So our team, our team leaders and our people, they know what kind of person that we want on our team. So we're, if somebody comes in, we're really quick to say, hey, appreciate it, but this is not going to work out. And then we go to the next, to the next person, the next man up, and give it a shot. And so we've had to go through a lot of no's to find the yes men, Yeah. And it's a challenging and painful process, but for me, it's the only process right now. And I do think that we have some room to grow with the structural, more in-depth analysis on things.
Well, and I also, you told us a little bit about the change in your staff numbers. And I keep going back to, how the heck does a guy figure out how to get 6 new employees on board within 6 months or within 12 months, right? That's a lot. It's to identify that person, bring them in. You want to not have a big turnover rate on your employees. So from that standpoint, you must have some kind of infrastructure in place to make them comfortable that, hey, this is the real deal. This is a place I can be comfortable the next few years.
Yeah. That comes through caring about them and not, it's really I think the culture here is attractive to people. I try to not treat them as, just another employee, but we care about them, their families. Sometimes it's just the little things, Hey, here's a couple $100 cash. I want you to use this to take your wife out on a date tonight. You guys need a date night, little things like that just show man, we work like crazy, but man, Rob cares about us and about our lives. And, if there's a health issue going on, he's on the phone, he's calling, he's trying, hey, what can we do? And so it starts from the top and works its way down. And what I've noticed is, that's just a part of our culture. It's more of a family, a family atmosphere, a family culture where, they have my backs and I have their backs, both professionally and personally as well. A lot of my guys, are comfortable enough to, let me know, hey, something's going on. Here's what it is. And, and so, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. Some people say, hey, don't mix that stuff. Well, I can't, I can't help it. And it works for us. So.
No, that's great. And again, I know you have a lot of different things in place currently, but you're also working on things for the future for your business. What is your prognosis for the future? How do you see things shaping up? I mean, you're 19 years old right now?
19. Oh man, I hadn't heard that one in a minute.
You seem to be one of the youngest.
I'm 38.
38. Oh my gosh, you look like you're 28. Okay, but anyway, 38. So, you have a long way to go. So what's the future? What's that look like for you, as well as your feelings in the industry?
Absolutely. So, little side note. Okay, so I'm going to just paint a picture for where we're headed. So, our Southern Hospitality Event Rentals was started in 2010. In 2020, I created a planning company called Southern Approach Event Planning. It's our sister company that we have 4 full-time event planners. So that we all communicate. We're in the same building, in the same warehouse. We communicate really well. And so that birthed, and this was all during COVID. You know, I had the time, I was looking for opportunities, trying to not get down, but look at, okay, hey, what can be done right now? So we created a mother brand company called the Hospitality Collection, which is a collection of companies that service the hospitality industry. Okay. So we have the rentals, we've got the planning. About 4 weeks ago, we just launched a luxury portable restroom trailer company called Clover Johns.
Wow.
Okay. We also have a new, another tent rental company that is going to be specific towards government contracts. Okay. And then we also have an in-house marketing team as well.
Wow.
So that company's called Soho 180. So really we're building a brand and building something that every company adds value to one another. Okay. And the mother brand, yes, it's a company that, you know, that really houses all these other companies, but also, you know, during COVID, we started the Hospitality Collection podcast, which that gave us the opportunity to, yes, it's the other company, but we want to add value to people in our industry as well. And so we started bringing on local people in the New Orleans, you know, Gulf Coast region market, bringing them on, and just hearing their stories and hearing what makes them tick, and hearing about, you know, because every business owner has a story and has been through, you know, jumped through all the fires and been through, you know, we go through a lot to be successful. So where I'm headed, you know, the last 2 pieces of my puzzle is a venue and a catering company. So those are the last 2 pieces, and then I'll settle down after that.
There you go. I love it. Well, I mean, amazing. It's incredible vision there for where you're headed. A little bit of a Disney World for the event rental industry and the offshoots. But by all means, you know, we love having you in the network. We're excited for you in the future. We're going to obviously tag along and keep an eye on you, and absolutely enjoy having you in the peer group. So our guest, go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to mention that, just tell you, and a little plug for you, but, you know, thank you so much for starting these peer groups and for providing a platform for myself and others like me to learn and grow, and provide tools and resources for us, and provide, really, you've opened up the doorway for relational equity with a lot of great people that are way beyond me, you know, way bigger and better than myself and our company. But, you know, I've been able to rub shoulders with a lot of people because of the peer group, you know, and some of the other resources that, you know, there's a lot of things that you do, Dan, and you and your team that you guys have built that have helped me through a lot of different things that, you know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, you've been helping me with my structuring a lot of different things for my company, you know, over the years. And so thank you so much.
Oh man, I appreciate it. No one's ever thanked me before on a podcast. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Shame on all those guys. No, I'm kidding. Really appreciate it. Never really thought how much of an impact we might have as a company on you guys, but we certainly feel your impact on us. So we do appreciate you. And everybody, that's Rob Verdi for you. If you get down to the New Orleans market, you definitely got to give him a ring and check out what's going on at Southern Hospitality Event Rentals. So thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Take care now. Thank you.
There are 3 primary reasons the teams I work with implement EOS, otherwise known as traction. Number 1, they're in pain. Things aren't going like you would like, and you're ready to do something about it. Number 2, they want to get to the next level. You're doing fine, but there's an opportunity out there that you don't think you're ready for. And number 3, a transition is imminent or expected. You're ready to make a change for yourself and your family as it relates to the business. Want to know more? Please reach out to me, Matthew Todd, Certified EOS Implementer, at 360-518-7718.
You've been listening to Peer Talk from Peer Executive Groups, produced and directed by Noah Crowley and hosted by Dan Crowley. Subscribe to this podcast for notifications of future episodes of Peer Talk.